Amazing.
Oh, you're correct. I
Yeah.
stand corrected.
Yeah, they're all coming in now. Okay. Well, hi everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our regulation and compliance webinar and taking time out of probably your lunch break to be here. So my name is Karina. I work in marketing and recruitment for the School of Law, and I'm here with our lovely academic Gary, who will talk to you a bit about studying law with us at CCLS and also a bit about regulation and compliance. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section and I'll try to answer them as I can. And if not, we'll get to them at the end of the session. But I'll give it to you, Gary. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karina, for the introduction. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. So, as Karina explained, this is I'm the director of the Regulation Compliance Program. I'm also the director of Graduate Studies. So, I do PhDs. I can answer most questions about the LLM program, but I'm gonna do a little twist and really concentrate on regulation compliance. But I'll try to answer your question. The presentation will be very short. And hopefully, well, I'm certain you will have enough time to ask all your questions. I'll try to get to all of them. So with that in mind, let's get started. Okay, so hopefully you can see my presentation.
I
Let
can
me.
confirm I can see a
Okay,
presentation.
very good. Let's stop playing it. Okay, wonderful. So as I mentioned, this is I'm the director of the Regulation Grants Program. So I'm going to concentrate on this. This is what I know best, but I'll try to answer any of the questions. So this is the Center for Commercial Law Studies. This is where you're going to come in if you were to come visit us. We are located in Lincoln's Inn Field, which is at the heart of legal London. I'll touch on that in a minute. You should know we are a research institution, so we do a lot of research, and we tend to be pretty good at that. We, of course, do more than research because we're a law school, and a lot of the research that we do is, applicable and can influence policies and the like. We have about we have 43, not about, we have 43 full-time faculty member at the Center for Commercial Law Study. We have the Department of Law that has about the same amount of full-time faculty. So together we have around 80 full-time member of staff within the School of Law. So obviously, maybe you're aware, maybe you're not, the School of Law is split into two. There is the Center for Commercial Law Study that focuses on commercial law, and the Department of Law that focuses that has a broader remit. So they'll do criminal law, they'll do human rights and the likes. So I'm going to concentrate on the Center for Commercial Law Studies because this is where I work. But so if your program is human rights, you might, be moving between buildings. So you should be, it's always good to know. So as I mentioned, we're experts, we're researchers, we're lawyers. So I'm pretty sure you can guess from my accent, I'm not British. I'm originally from France. I did my schooling in the US, so I'm a certified lawyer in the US. I'm licensed to practice there, and I do research mostly on law and economics, on competition law, on copyright, patent, and financial law. So very, very broad spectrum. I think I'm a very horizontal person when it comes to research because I think I get bored very easily. So I like to try many, many different topics. And if you're anything like me, CCLS is right for you. If you want to specialize, CCLS is also great for you because we have a ton of courses with specialisms. So as I mentioned, we have a big community. We have every year we have 800 to 1,000 students depending on the year. This is the biggest LLM program in the UK. I believe it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in Europe as well. So you'll meet students from everywhere. You'll meet students. You meet students from the UK, of course, Europe, Latin America, North America, Africa, anywhere in Asia. We had over 100 nationalities represented. And it's a great opportunity to, meet cool other people, but also make create a great network and get great connections with other people, because you never know, 10 years from now, you may be working on a deal and you need somebody to be involved in the deal in a different jurisdiction, and you look at the alumni network and you realize, oh, I went to school with that guy, and that guy, is pretty good. Then we have Q Legal, which is our pro bono clinic. It's a great opportunity for you to practice your skill with startups. So startups who usually have, they will have at the beginning of their life, usually they have issues about how to incorporate, how to set up a bank account, how to pay employees. And so often they don't have the capacity because they're startups. So they come to us and we give them advice. And so usually how it works is usually you have a group of 3, 4, 5 students, depending on the, the difficulty or the complexity of the question. And then you're assigned with an attorney to supervise the project. And so you have to do the research, you have to do the advising, and the attorney will be there to make sure that whatever you advise is correct. Finally, the location, as I mentioned, we're in the heart of legal London. What does it mean? It means that where I'm sitting right now, across the square, across Lincoln's Inn Field, you have the Royal Court of Justice. Well, first around the square, you have a lot of the chambers. And then if you go beyond the square and the other street, you have the Royal Court of Justice. Not enough students take advantage of this. You should definitely go and see what a trial looks like in the UK, particularly if you're anything like me and you're not here and you didn't do your schooling in the UK. It's the judicial system here is very different than even the US, which has also a common law system. Of course, you have access to all the facilities that are at QM, which are usually located. Some of them are located in Milan, not all of them, because you have Charterhouse Square, you have Whitechapel. So Queen Mary has 5 campuses or in London. And then, of course, you have the Institute of Advanced Legal Study, which is about a 10-minute walk in that direction. It has a library, and it's a great place to do research, to do work, so highly recommend it. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to concentrate on the regulation compliance program. And the regulation compliance program is a joint program. And so you'll have the LLM or the MSc, which is Master of Science. This is, it can be full-time or it can be part-time. That's really up to you. You have 60 mandatory credits. We'll talk about what they are. You have a split dissertation, which is 30 credits. And then you have modules that you can pick from a wide areas of modules of 90 credits. So with regard to the mandatory courses, those are the mandatory courses. So in semester 1, you have 3 mandatory courses. I call it Law and Economics of Regulation Compliance. It's really about regulatory design. I guess the writing went too far, and it's a module about regulatory design. So why do regulators regulate, and why do they pick a specific kind of regulations when they want to regulate? And then you have law and ethics in business and finance. So as you can imagine, this is you as a compliance officer, when you graduate, you have to be ethical. And I remember when I was in your shoes, my professor told me the best way to do this is really, if you're unsure whether or not you're ethical, just stay away from that issue, right? It's easier, when you're walking along a cliff, it's easier to stick to the wall than trying to go to the edge. And then finally, the third module in the first semester is about applying your regulatory skills to the financial system. So here it's compliance system in practice. So this is about banking regulations. We could have picked any courses with that, but we thought like most students tend to be interested in financial regulation. We'll discuss that. But here it's really to make sure that you're applying the skills that you're learning in the other modules So all three of those will take place in semester 1, and then in semester 2, you have the regulation compliance clinic. Here, this is where you're going to be focusing on your skills. So what do I mean by skills? Your writing skills, your presentation skills, all of the above. And so you as a lawyer, you'll have many different type of skills, and you'll have many different opportunities to practice them, whether we're talking about interviewing clients or presenting to colleagues. Okay. Then you can specialize or not if you're in the regulation and compliance program. There's four subspecialty, which is finance and insurance regulation, data protection and information society, business trade regulation, and energy and environmental regulation. And then within that, you have the opportunity to pick 90 credits. So what does it mean? It means you can specialize and focus on one specific area. You're going to focus on data privacy, GDPR, data protection, or you don't have to specialize. You can take credit from a wide variety of offering. It's really for you to try to figure out what fits best within your career project in the future. Then the dissertation. So regulation compliance has a split dissertation. Most students have a dissertation. It can be optional. So I see there was a question about the general LLM. So the general LLM has an optional dissertation. Regulation compliance, you have to do a dissertation. It's split dissertation. What does it mean? You're going to have 5,000 words to write on a case study. So I will give you the case study and you will write about a specific topic. So to give you an example, this year, the finance case study is on the promotion of cryptocurrency. So I'm sure all of you have heard that Kim Kardashian had to pay a fine last year of almost $3 million for breaching the promotion of securities law. And so that's based on that, right? And the second case study is about GDPR, and it's an example of a company trying to set up a website and how they should go about setting up the website. It changes every year. Last year it was about the transport of hazardous material. The year before is about the regulation of restaurants and how you have to abide by the rules. So depending on your interest, you'll hopefully find what you're looking for. And then you have the independent research project. It's really for you to pick the topic, and that's really for you to find something that you're interested in. And so both of us will be guided. So the case study will be guided by your program director. Hi. And the independent research will match you with somebody who is really concentrating in that area of expertise. So as I mentioned, I know some students that that are here are not really into regulation compliance. So the dissertation is mandatory for regulation compliance. It's mandatory from some LLMs, but not all LLMs. So I would highly recommend for you to check the website. If you're not interested in regulation compliance, do check what is most relevant to you. Finally, those are some links that are relevant for you guys. So if you're interested in seeing whether there is an alumni chapter, you might even see where they meet and might be able to talk to some alums, or go and if you're into that stuff, go on LinkedIn and figure out who went to Queen Mary from the area where you're living right now, and send them a note and say, hey, ask them a question about what it's like to study here. I think it's always a great way to do this. This is really all I have to discuss for today. So I have my email. We have another director of regulation compliance, but I forgot to put his email on the slide. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. We'll stop the presentation now, and I'll give everybody an opportunity to ask questions. I see there are already a few questions that Karina has answered. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody has any questions, put them in the chat. We'll wait a couple of minutes, and then I'll also go ahead and put in a general postgraduate law inquiries email for you guys if you guys have any questions as well.
Oh, so we have a question. Okay, related to cybersecurity. Okay, so what specific question do you have related to cybersecurity? Okay. I guess some. Okay. Okay. So there are two Amins. So Amin number one is asking mainly the interoperability across transnational operators. I mean, data security. Okay. I'm not quite sure I understand your question. Are you worried that what you're going to learn is not going to be applicable in other jurisdictions? Is that what you're worried about? Oh, yeah. So the principle so yes, this is a good question, right? So the principle we're gonna teach you, whether it's about data security, it's really about this idea that we are going to try to we teach broad principles. So we do teach English law, we do teach European law, but we also do teach comparative law. So you're gonna have data security things going on related to many jurisdictions. So it's not gonna be UK specific. Is that what you're worried about? The principle is going to be very broad. Of course, when you're going to be doing your independent research, you will have the option to decide which jurisdiction you're most interested in. So there's going to be, of course, some aspects specific to the regulation here, but it's going to be much, much broader. So Amin is asking, I have a bachelor's degree in private law and MA. Can I apply? Yes, you can. You can apply to the LLM in regulation and compliance. Yes. I mean, I assume your bachelor's degree is in private law. So the MSc is really for people who don't have a background in law, and whereas the LLM is really for students who have a background in law. That's the distinction between the two. Is that's what you're asking? But based on what you're saying, seems that you do have the necessary background. So I mean, came back and say privacy by design and security by design. I did not mean the aspect of that dissertation focus if possible. Yes, various comparative law. So this is interesting. Yes, I mean you're right. There is comparative law, and you're going to be able to see the different aspects, and you know, most professors are amenable to whatever topic. So if you're interested in certain aspect of privacy law and you think it's not you know, discuss in the course the way you want to, then ask questions, right? It's always for you to drive the questions. I always love when students push the course in one direction. Tamni is asking, what practical experiences students of this LLM will be able to have at the regulation markets? Okay, so so the regulation compliance, we have a specific mentorship program dedicated to people who are interested in non-traditional jobs. So what do I mean by that? People who might not, so there's a mentorship program also for that. But if you're not interested in doing a solicitor's exam, but you're more interested in going straight into like a bank or this kind of consulting firm that really focuses on regulatory markets and regulation, we have a partnership with Bloomberg, with Bank of America, and Willkie Farr. And so every year they provided us with about 30 mentors who have a specific area of expertise that is in regulation, right, in regulatory market. Beyond that, we we usually hold lunch and learn with Bloomberg as well. We did one this year where the head of GDPR came and discussed everything GDPR related. We had another one that was focused on competition law and the regulation of those markets. So those are going to be, you know, your practical experience where students can engage with practitioners. In terms of experience, you have the ability to, of course, do Q Legal. As I mentioned, it's a clinic, and you're going to have some of the questions are regulatory based. So particularly, you know, when you have startups that live in an online world. Oh, so you have a follow-up question. Asset management, in what way? So some of the teachers, you have our compliance officer in large investment bank. I will let them introduce themselves. I can't tell you what investment bank they're involved in. But those, so as I mentioned, we have 43 full-time teachers, and a lot of the teachers you're going to have are going to be practitioners who also teach. So two of the teachers you'll have next year if you join regulation compliance are compliance officer or asset manager in large investment funds. I can't tell you which one. If they want to discuss that with you, that's their problem. And so those are going to be who you're going to be in dialogue with. So so you'll get the research and the theory approach from me, and you'll get the practical approach from my colleagues as well. So Swang is asking, I would like to know if students can intern during semester 3 or the dissertation writing. You can intern all year round. So we don't, so of course, you're expected to come to class, and it's for you to agree with your employer or wherever you're doing your internship, to carve out some time for you to come to class. But in theory, you can intern in semester 1, 2, or 3. During the semester 3, it happens a lot. I would say probably 50% of students do some form of internship over the summer, whether they stay in the UK or go home, that's up to them. During the semester 3, you don't, of course, you can take courses. We have semester 3 courses, or you don't have to take courses. You can do your dissertation, and you can do your dissertation from most anywhere. So if you're interested in doing internships, that's really up to you, and we don't really limit that or when you can do it. Wonderful.
Amazing.
Any other questions? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, so Amin is okay. Okay. I mean, it seems like you're more interested in a technical solution than a legal solution, right? So I don't want to misguide you, right? So if you're oh, okay, no. So we have a full, you know, LLM on technology, media, and telecommunications, where you will have the opportunity to take 180 credits on cybersecurity, cybercrimes, and the way the law deals with it, both on the civil side when you're talking about, you know, hacking, privacy, and all that, and on the criminal side where, you know, we're talking about stealing money and fraud and all that. So there's a wide range of courses that you can take linked to cybersecurity, AI, and how the law deals with those cyber threats. So if you're interested in the legal answer to those questions, then I would definitely, you know, encourage it. I'm not sure I'm answering your question though. Okay. I mean, this is not my so this is not my area of expertise. So I can't I don't deal with cybersecurity. I find it interesting, and my interest in AI is mostly rooted in copyright infringement and patent infringement, much more than in cybersecurity. So I'm not sure I would be the right person to answer your question. If you really already know this is your main area of interest, I would highly encourage you that you look at the technology, media, and telecommunication LLM instead of the regulation and compliance LLM, because it seems to be what you're really set on. So so I don't want to misguide you, right? So here you can take with the regulation compliance LLM 90 credits in cybersecurity classes, but if you want to take 180 credits in cybersecurity related classes and cybercrime and the like, then the TMT module is probably better. Yeah, your profile is definitely suitable to apply. I don't think there is I think anybody who has an interest in the law can apply. I don't see why you wouldn't be accepted. I think if as long as you meet our entry requirements, right?
I'm also going to send in the link to the TMT LLM course page for you. Cool. Okay. Amazing. I think that's hopefully everything.
Any other questions? I can see people coming in and out, so don't be shy about this.
Okay. I think we just ended there.
Okay, wonderful. So so maybe I'll put in the chat as well. I'll put if you have any questions about regulatory compliance, do not hesitate to email me. This is my email. I'll put it in the chat. And I'm happy to answer questions that are not necessarily linked to regulatory compliance, but I may not know the answer. That's the problem. Oh, we have two hands up. Muhammad is raising his hand. Tell me. Now you should be able to talk, but it looks like you're on mute. Okay. All right. No. Okay. Let's. Thenia is also a question. So now you should be allowed to talk. You just have to unmute yourself. No? Okay.
Well, if you guys have any questions or if they come to you, feel
Okay.
free to email us.
Yes, please.
And if Gary doesn't know or I don't know, we can get you in touch with somebody who does know.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much for attending our webinar.
Thank you, everybody. Lovely seeing you, and I hope I'll see you in September.
Yes. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.